Asteroid collision. Right now, in the belt between Mars and Jupiter, rocks are hitting each other at about 5 kilometers per second. Most of it is gravel, but 5.5 million years ago, one asteroid 30 kilometers wide was shattered completely, and its fragments still travel together today. Those fragments are what eventually falls out of our sky. So in 2022, we hit one back. We flew a spacecraft the size of a vending machine into a moonlet at 22,000 kilometers per hour. The plan was to shift its orbit by 73 seconds. It moved by 33 minutes. The impact blew out so much rock that the recoil pushed harder than the spacecraft did, and it left no crater. The asteroid is a loose pile of rubble, so the whole thing simply changed shape. But aim a rock like that at the largest planet in the solar system, and it never survives long enough to land. Comet Impact. In 1992, a comet passed too close to Jupiter and simply came apart into 21 pieces strung across 1 million kilometers. Astronomers called it the String of Pearls. 2 years later, it came back. Over 6 days, every fragment hit at 60 kilometers per second. The largest released 6 million megatons, roughly 600 times every nuclear weapon on Earth combined. The fireball was briefly hotter than the surface of the sun, and it left a scar in the clouds almost as wide as our planet. It was the first time humans watched two worlds collide, and nobody on Earth actually saw it. Every fragment struck just around the far side. We only saw the plumes rise over the edge, but move that impact to a world with oceans, and the scar is not in the clouds, it is in the fossil record. Extinction Impact. 66 million years ago, a rock over 10 kilometers wide hit what is now Mexico at about 20 kilometers per second. It arrived at roughly 60 degrees, close to the worst possible angle. Steeper would have buried the energy. Shallower would have skipped it away. 60 degrees threw the most debris skyward. That debris went 65 kilometers up, then came back down, and every falling piece heated the air. For several hours, the whole planet was cooked from above, everywhere at once. 3,000 kilometers away, the ground started shaking 6 minutes later. An inland sea sloshed out of its basin and buried fish alive. We have found them, with glass beads from the impact still lodged in their gills. Fossils from the hour it happened, and here is what should disturb you. Only about 13% of Earth's surface held the sulfur-rich rock needed to turn an impact into an extinction. It landed on one of the few places that could kill almost everything. Sungrazer. Now aim that comet at the sun instead. Most comets that do this belong to one family, and every one is a fragment of a single enormous comet that came apart near the sun centuries ago. The pieces are still arriving. We watch them with a solar observatory never designed to hunt comets. It has found more than 5,000, more than half of every comet humanity has discovered, most of them spotted by volunteers at home. They do not burn. There is no oxygen out there. They are pulled apart by tides and boiled away by light. In 2013, we watched one come apart on camera at 337 kilometers per second. But 2 years earlier, one survived. It passed through the sun's outer atmosphere, spent nearly an hour inside plasma hotter than 1 million degrees, and came out intact. Then it fell apart 4 days later. But take two worlds of similar size and point them at each other. Giant Impact. About 4.5 billion years ago, a world the size of Mars hit the Earth. The entire surface of our planet turned into an ocean of molten rock. And out of that debris, in the newest simulations, the moon may have formed in a matter of hours. Here is what we cannot explain. Earth and the moon are chemically almost identical, matching to within 4 parts per million. The moon should be mostly built from the world that hit us. It is not, and in 2023, geologists proposed something stranger. 2 continent-sized masses sit at the bottom of Earth's mantle, 3,000 kilometers down, each about twice the size of the moon. They may be the remains of the world that hit us, still buried inside this planet. But that collision built something. The next one only broke something. Glancing blow. Every planet spins roughly upright. Uranus lies on its side, tilted almost 98 degrees, rolling around the sun like a barrel. The leading explanation is a collision with something at least twice the mass of Earth, striking at a glancing angle. A direct hit would not work. Only a graze both tips the planet over and leaves a disk of debris behind. We know the entire system tipped because the rings and all 29 moons are tilted with it, which gives it seasons that exist nowhere else. Each pole gets 42 years of unbroken sunlight, then 42 years of unbroken darkness. longer than most human lives in a single season. But that collision only knocked a planet over, moved closer to the sun, and one of them was skinned alive. Mantle stripping. Mercury is mostly core. Its iron heart fills 85% of its radius and 70% of its mass. Mercury is a ball of iron wearing a shell of rock a few hundred kilometers thick. Something took the rest. The standard answer is a collision violent enough to strip the outer layers away, except the evidence argues with itself. A blast that violent should also have boiled off the light, fragile elements, potassium, sulfur, sodium. When we measured the surface, they were all still there. So the newest models describe something less like an execution and more like a sideswipe. Two young worlds of similar size clipping each other, shearing away most of one planet's rock, and letting the iron core collapse back together within hours. But a planet can only be stripped. A star can swallow one whole. Planetary Engulfment. In 2020, a star suddenly brightened more than 100 times in about 10 days. For the first time, we had caught a star eating one of its own planets. The story was simple. The star had grown old, swollen up, and swallowed the world closest to it. Then in 2025, the James Webb Telescope examined the wreckage, and that story was wrong. The star was not a bloated dying giant. It was an ordinary star, smaller than our sun, still in the middle of its life. The planet fell in by itself. Its orbit had been decaying for millions of years, tightening with every pass until it plunged in. And in the ashes, Webb found a ring of gas that chemically resembles the place where planets are born. Our own sun will do this. It takes Mercury and Venus for certain. Whether it reaches Earth is undecided, and it hardly matters. Our oceans boil away a billion years before it swells. But take two stars and let them fall into each other. Stellar merger. Usually we only learn about a collision after it happens. Once, we recorded the whole thing by accident. A survey had been photographing one star for years while looking for something else. That star was actually two stars orbiting each other every 1.4 days, close enough to touch. Looking back through the archive, astronomers watched the orbit tighten year after year and watched the light of two objects flatten into the signature of one. Then in 2008, it went off, brightening 10,000 times. We even tried to predict one. In 2017, astronomers announced two stars would merge into a new light in our sky in 2022. Nothing happened. The prediction collapsed because of a single timestamp recorded 12 hours wrong, but those are two stars. Now take 100 billion of them. Galactic Cannibalism. Our galaxy is eating another one right now. Tonight, over your head. A dwarf galaxy has been passing through the Milky Way for billions of years, and every pass tears more of it apart. Its stars have been pulled into streams that now wrap the entire sky. A ribbon of stolen suns looped around our galaxy. It is not the first. Around 10 billion years ago, a far larger galaxy hit us head-on. Roughly half the stars in our outer halo did not form here. They are the remains of a galaxy that no longer exists, and each time that dwarf galaxy crashes through our disk, it compresses gas and triggers a wave of new stars. One of those passes lines up in time with the formation of the sun. You may be here because something crashed into us, but being eaten is one thing. Meeting something your own size is another. Galaxy collision. Andromeda is falling toward us at about 110 kilometers per second, and for a decade we were told this collision was certain. If it happens, almost nothing actually hits. The odds of two stars striking are about the same as two ping-pong balls meeting across 2 miles of open ground. But in 2025, astronomers ran 100,000 simulations using the best measurements we have ever had. The answer changed. It is now roughly a coin flip over the next 10 billion years. The reason is a smaller galaxy orbiting our own, which tugs the Milky Way just far enough sideways that we might simply miss. Better data made us less certain, not more. But when galaxies do merge, their central black holes merge too, and sometimes the result gets thrown out. Gravitational recoil. When two supermassive black holes collide, they do not release their energy evenly. Gravitational waves pour out harder in one direction than the other, and the merged black hole recoils the opposite way. It is a rocket with no exhaust. The push comes from ripples in space, The kick can reach thousands of kilometers per second, faster than the escape velocity of an entire galaxy. We have measured a real one at 1,500 kilometers per second, directly from its gravitational waves. And in 2026, astronomers found one fired out of its home galaxy 70 million years ago, still traveling at nearly 1,000 kilometers per second. It is never coming back. A black hole millions of times the mass of the Sun, crossing the emptiness between galaxies forever. But galaxies are not the largest things that collide. Cluster collision. Galaxy clusters are the largest structures gravity has ever held together. Thousands of galaxies in a single object. Roughly 150 million years ago, two of them hit at several thousand kilometers per second. The collision released more energy than anything since the Big Bang. The galaxies passed straight through. The gas between them did not. Those clouds slammed together and heated past 100 million degrees. Then astronomers measured where the mass actually was, and it was in the wrong place. Most of the matter had sailed straight through, leaving the glowing gas stranded behind. That is the strongest direct evidence we have that most of this universe is made of something we cannot see. But every collision so far has been two things becoming one. There is one last collision where everything does. Last collision. Eventually, our neighborhood runs out of room. Andromeda, if it comes, and every dwarf galaxy around us will fall together into one enormous galaxy. No spiral arms, no new stars, just an aging ball of red suns. And while that happens, the rest of the universe leaves. Dark energy is pulling everything not bound to us away faster and faster. In roughly 100 billion years, every galaxy outside our own crosses a horizon and becomes permanently invisible. Not too faint to see, genuinely unreachable, no matter how large a telescope anyone ever builds. So picture an astronomer in that final galaxy, doing everything right, careful measurements, honest work, better instruments than ours. They point their telescope outward and find nothing. No other galaxies, no expansion, no leftover glow from the Big Bang, because it has stretched into silence. They would conclude the universe is a single island of stars, static and eternal. They would be completely wrong, and there would be no way for them to ever know. Every piece of evidence that this universe had a beginning is sitting in the sky right now, and it is leaving. We are not at the center of anything. We are just early enough to still see the truth. That is the only reason we know any of this at all.